Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
He's back. No, not Roman Reigns. We'll get into that very, very shortly. But welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. This is the Summerslam review show with me, your host, Adam Cousins. And like I said, he's back. The main man himself, Mr. Andy Burrows. It's been a while, my friend.
I know, mate. Thanks. It's great to be back talking some wrestling. I've been watching wrestling, but life has been crazy busy for me, mate. But when the opportunity to come and talk about SummerSlam with your good self, mate, never say no to that invite, mate. So yeah, pleasure to be here, mate. Loving still what HCTB is doing. Always very close to my heart, mate. As you know, me and Parker started this, then you come on board, and it's just gone from strength to strength. So any moment that I get to come on and do this and talk some wrestling, and wow, what a weekend we've just had.
What a weekend. And yeah, you're always welcome back, as is Parker, anytime. We're always happy to have
you, my
you
friend.
guys
Thank
on.
you.
Before we get to SummerSlam, and I appreciate we've got to be quite quick on these things. There's a couple of bits I wanted to talk to you about. First things first, the impossible seemingly to become possible. WWE have recently held talks with Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, about bringing WrestleMania to London. I never thought it was going to happen in my lifetime. It now seems a matter of if not when, when not if they're going to bring it over. I mean, I'll be selling kidneys, selling Rachel, selling houses to get to that whole week. I mean, did you ever think that it was going to be possible? And how excited are you now that it's seemingly on the surface?
Oh, dude, me and you have spoke about this many times on these shows, and when we've been together at events, and wrestling fans have talked about it for years and years. Will it ever happen? And I've had arguments with people going, it will never happen because of the time zones, because of this, because of that. And maybe they were right 10 years ago because of the way wrestling was. The way wrestling is now, and specifically the way the WWE is, I think it's more worldwide than it's ever been. SummerSlam was one of the first pay-per-views it's been in the States for ages. We had to stay up relatively late for the first time in God knows how long to watch a show. I'm like you. I'm selling houses. I'm selling kidneys. I'm selling whatever I need to do to get tickets to say I was at Wembley Stadium night one, night two, Raw, SmackDown. It's going to be a whole week long of WWE, mate. I think me and you are going to have to book entire week off work just so we can attend everything. I think it's amazing. I think it's proof of where Triple H wants the business to go, where he wants the company to go. He's thinking more outside the box than ever before. I think the best thing, and I never thought I'd say this, being as a guy that's watched this since 1985, I actually rewatched one of the first events I went to last night, the Battle at the Royal Albert Hall. They're all on the network now. All the old Silvervision classics are on the network. Never thought I'd be sitting here saying I think WWE is better now than when Vince McMahon had it before everything kicked off. I think the vision now of wrestling is completely changed. I mean, folks like me and you, from when we grew up watching wrestling, it's like watching a Marvel movie every time you watch a wrestling event now, whether that's the intros, whether that's the in-depth storytelling now, whether that's promos, whether that's graphics, whether what they've done with the Raw stage now, they've made things more compact. So to have WrestleMania over here, nothing short of incredible, my friend. Can't wait to try. God knows how hard it'll be to get tickets. We'll get there somehow. It's been on my bucket. Like I say, you've been to WrestleManias. We've spoke many times. It's been on my bucket list for, oh God, probably since I was about 13, 14, if I'm realistic. When to go to WrestleMania will be incredible. To have WrestleMania in my hometown will be even better. So kudos to Triple H. Kudos to probably the only thing the mayor of London will ever do right in his whole tenure. It's the only thing that clown will ever get right is bringing WrestleMania to. But let's not get into that. I can't wait, mate. It's going to be incredible.
It is going to be incredible. Looking forward to just a matter of when, what year we'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out.
I think they could. I reckon next year, you know how when WrestleMania is on, they usually announce the year after. I'm guessing that's when they're going to announce WrestleMania. Is it 40? It'll be 42, won't it?
42.
42. Yeah. I'm guessing that's when they'll announce it at Wembley Stadium.
Christ almighty, that's going to be incredible. Last thing before we get SummerSlam, There is going to be a retirement soon in the WWE. As you know, watch Money in the Bank. John Cena announced retirement. We've got 3 months of wrestling to catch up on, guys. We're not going to catch it all up on this particular one, but there's just a couple of talking points. Cena, obviously, retirement tour next year. Definitely going to be coming over to London at some point for that. I think if anyone deserved to go out the way he wants to go out, it would be that man.
Yeah, look, I've never been a massive John Cena fan per se of his wrestling, but he's earned my respect from what he's done for the business. He hasn't been one of these that's all like he didn't do what The Rock originally did and said, "No, I'm done with wrestling. Call me Dwayne Johnson. I never want to come back." Yada yada yada. He's always said he will be wrestling. He will be WWE. It's what gave him, the platform to where he is now and what he can do now. So I'm never going to not knock him for that. It's going to be, I think he's always said he wants to finish in London. So whether we get, whatever happens next year, do we get another pay-per-view before WrestleMania? He's always said, I can't see him going out at a house show. Whether the planets align and he can go out in London, because he's always said he wanted to have his last match in London. Do they put the title on him one more time to break Ric Flair's record? Yes. If you don't think that's going to happen, you're stupid, because I genuinely think it could happen on a Sunday and he drop it on a Monday or something like that. He retires as champion. They announce a tournament and we're off to the races for a new champion. Yeah, I'm with you, lads. I think he's earned the right to go out how he wants. I still remember his debut on SmackDown against Kurt Angle, ruthless aggression, etc., etc. From where he was then to where he is now, he's probably, after The Rock, he's probably WWE's most recognizable face. But the good thing about John Cena is he's still known for wrestling, which is really good. So yeah, kudos to him. I wish him all the best.
Yeah, definitely so. We've got another year or so of him anyway. Big run scheduled for next year. We'll wait and see with that. Let's get into it. SummerSlam. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I don't know. Greatest SummerSlam ever, maybe? I don't know.
It's up there. I mean, you listen to idiots like Dave Meltzer. He's called it, what did he call it? Angle Slam or something. Yeah, it was all an angle SummerSlam or something. Yeah, for me, don't get me wrong, it's set up. How many times have me and you said over the years, you want a pay-per-view, and yes, I called it pay-per-view, I'm that old, to keep you watching. To keep you want to tune into Monday Night Raw, to want you to tune into SmackDown, to want you to watch the Bash at Berlin at the end of August. It done that and more. Raw tonight will have record figures because of what went down at SummerSlam. SmackDown is 1,000% going to have record figures because a certain tribal chief is back. Best SummerSlam of all time? It could be in the top 3. I mean, SummerSlam 92 for me will always be up there. 97 was good. Yeah, there was only one match, I'm sure, when you get to break it down, that I've kind of felt bored me a little bit. For me, the entire card from top to bottom apart, all bar one match, and I'm not really going to poo-poo on that. It just bored me personally. I loved it, mate. I thought it was a great card. And it was storytelling at its best. They had build. And that's what WWE seemed to be doing better than anybody right now. In your mind, you kind of know where they want to get to.
Yep.
But you're like, well, what's the reaction going to be when Roman does eventually come back? Well, we found out at SummerSlam. It was incredible. What's going to happen when Finn and everything like that, when he turns on Damian Priest and that implodes? And well, we're going to know now that we know what's happened. There were so many storylines that you're like, well, we've got a new world champion, etc. From top to bottom, it left me just wanting. What you want is to be left wanting to watch more professional wrestling. Jesus, did Saturday night do that?
It did it, and straight away we can kick off with something that's going to make us want to watch. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. A lot of this match was built around two things, obviously Dominic and Rhea's shoulder. She popped it, fucking hell, she popped it back into place by hitting the shoulder on the table at some point. I know this was all kind of in with the match. It wasn't an injury that she picked up in the match. It was what she was doing. But it all centered around whether or not Dirty Dom would prove to be Dirty Dom and fold and go to Liv Morgan. Well, he did. Slid the chair in the ring very much unnoticeably. I think it was positioned in such a way that you kind of thought, well, that he did grab the chair off Rhea at one point, saying, "Hey, look, the title." And you're thinking, "Oh, that makes sense, cool." And then he slid it in, and then when Liv done the oblivion onto the chair, he then picked her up, snogged her, probably got some wood at that point that he done that, and left Rhea in, Mammy in. Let's just say I wouldn't want to be them tonight on Raw when we get to Raw tonight. But overall, that just hit the ball off. Well, basically hit the home run from what the show was going to be like.
Yeah, mate, it was a great start to the show. They've been building again, what I said a minute ago, long-term storytelling. They've been building this and building this and building this and teasing this and teasing this, and then bam, it was the ultimate payoff. And why not have it at your second biggest show of the year? SummerSlam will always be the little brother to
Yeah.
WrestleMania. For those that grew up with wrestling, always knows that. Yeah, it was a great payoff. It was a good match. That, again, they incorporated the quote unquote injury, which I thought
Yeah.
was really good, and then the popping back in on the side of the table. And like you said, Dom stopping her from using the chair. And all the way through that match, you're like, when's the turn going to happen? And I must admit, when the chair got slid in, I was like, here we go. This is it. And bam, they delivered. And again, the whole Judgment Day thing now is completely up in the air because obviously we're going to get to what happened with Damian Priest, etc., etc. What's going to happen with them now is going to be incredible. Is going to be little mini single runs? What's going to happen? It just makes me just want to watch more. But the match itself, I thought was incredible. I thought it was a really good opening. If you want it, like we've always said, if you want to open a show, open it strong, open it fast, get people hooked. That match did, again, incorporating the injury, I thought was really good. The ends, the false finishes were good. Obviously, Rhea Ripley hitting Riptide a few times, and Liv kicking out. Really, I'm glad they didn't switch the title straight back to Rhea. Because if you look at the pay-per-views coming up, obviously you've got the Bash at Berlin. That's not going to be a glorified house show, but I don't think it's going to be as big as SummerSlam was. And then you kind of peep round the corner what War Games could now be with
Bad
what
blood.
we're going to get into. Yeah, bad. You're thinking, wow, you've got Judgment Day, you've got the Bloodline, which we're going to get into. You've got Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Wow. Yeah, a great start to a show, mate. And they get done what it was meant to do. Got everyone hooked.
Certainly did. Second match on the card was the one of the two matches that I felt they WWE needed if you were gonna basically put the rocket to someone or gonna say to someone it's their time. These next two matches that we're going to discuss is exactly that. Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn. I actually found out today it only went half the time it was meant to, which is interesting. Braun Breaker pretty much decimated Sami Zayn in this match. There was a little bit of Sami getting some offense, but ultimately it was a Braun Breaker squash. He won the Intercontinental title. I felt as if, because I was on with Ringside Renaissance last week talking about predictions, and I said that if Braun Breaker loses his second championship match in a row, the hype, what you're trying to do to build him, comes crashing down, and the believability of the guy would be at fault. But they done the right thing. They put the title on him, and I think realistically, there's not going to be many people that's going to stop him.
No, I think it was a good move. It's kind of like what they done with Gunter when he originally got called up and lost all his weight and got to where he is now, which again we'll get into. I think it was a good move. Yeah, the match itself felt a bit squashy as well.
Yeah.
It felt not rushed, but you were like, if you want to make him the kind of Brock Lesnar kind of thing that you want him to be, where he's just going to squash people, I'm guessing Sammy will get his rematch in Berlin. That could be another 5-minute match, and then it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the IC title now, who gets involved in that mix. And do you get, for me, I'd throw someone like The Miz in there. He's not doing anything. I'd get him in there maybe straight away. You're going to want him in a feud. Do they get his old man involved? Did they get both of them? Did they, how do they work that? Obviously, they were in the crowd on Saturday. No, I enjoyed what they've done with him. It's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward. Is he just going to do a Goldberg and just squash everyone for 6 months? Do they get him to WrestleMania next year and then he drops the title? Or do they, in the back of their mind, are they thinking, right, IC title, world title, like they did with Gunther? Because, I'd say the cogs are probably already turning for Mania. Once that Triple H has already said, once SummerSlam's out the way, the cogs start turning. And once you get to what you mentioned a minute ago, Survivor Series, War Games, everything like that, Mania's pretty much booked by the time we get to Survivor Series. So, yeah, another interesting one. Did they drop him back down to NXT for a little bit? Because that's, it's happened before. Could it happen again? Does he go back down there and have a feud? Do they keep him on the main roster? Who does he feud with? Yeah, I enjoyed it. But a lot of people moaning, it was over really quickly. It was up 6-7 minutes. Sami Zayn's title run meant nothing. Does Sami now get elevated? Does he go up a notch, or has that crested the wave? I think me and you spoke a few months ago now. He was there. And if you look at Backlash last year when he went up against Roman, he was here. He was the next big thing. And then for whatever reason, WWE went, hang on a minute, we're not quite sure. Is he going to have to do a Gunter and wait a year, maybe? year and a half. Who knows? But yeah, interesting times ahead, mate.
You could have something else coming up, maybe at War Games, Sammy. we
I
have
think,
to.
do they get? Is yeah? I'm going to bring that up. Is there a little reunion with the
Yeah.
original? But yeah, that could
Could
happen.
well be. Another match that, again, we go to United States Championship now that, we're talking about LA Knight and we're talking about people that absolutely needed to win this. Otherwise, he's never going to get where he was going to get to. Logan Paul, LA Knight. LA Knight did pick up the victory, did finally win gold in WWE. Probably long overdue for the work that he's done in the WWE, especially when they were looking at firing him at one point under Vince. Now he's established. The crowd is still with him. It was a good match. Logan Paul, I think, got injured halfway through this. I think I've been reading
Looked
today
like
there
it.
was an injury. Still done some incredible stuff. Title run, 2 defenses in nearly 300 days. Probably more about the outside of WWE.
The image, yeah. It was more about the image of who's got the title, weren't it? I
Yeah.
think, mate. I think you're right there.
Yeah, but justified LA Knight picking up the victory.
Oh, 100%. Me and you, a good few months ago now, said he was another Sami Zayn, wasn't he? He was here. And I don't know what it was, because like me and you mentioned when we spoke just after WrestleMania, where WWE worried because of where they were going to go with the bloodline and what the reaction would be. We all now know where they've gone with the bloodline. So in hindsight, they probably made the right decision. We were all sitting there going, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, they're kind of here. What are WWE doing? But, you have to trust the process. Sounds very cliche. But what Triple H has done, he's gone, hang on a minute. This is long term. And I love that shit. I absolutely love that. So I think they played it right. It's going to be, again, he's another one. What does he have a rematch with Logan in Berlin in front of God knows what, 60 odd, 70 odd thousand people in Berlin, how many of that stadium holds? It's going to be an incredible event. Does Logan get his rematch clause then? Does he take it elsewhere? But yeah, LA Knight needed it. I mean, the pop was good. The reaction, he's slowly risen back up. It's just now, does he plateau off? He'll have way more defenses than Logan did. We know that. It's just what they do. Because WWE is so, everything now is just like, whoa, there's a storyline there. There's a great storyline over there. There's Raw, there's SmackDown. NXT's really good. They're bringing in people from TNA.
Yeah.
You've got to have your head on a swivel now to literally know what's going on in WWE. So it's just, do you get caught up in the melee and people not forget about your storyline? They just have to make it worthwhile now. That title needs to be a worthwhile run. And then again, it's another one. Where does LA Knight go? Do you just keep him going that way, or does he, interesting times ahead again, mate. I liked it. Good move.
Indeed. Just what you mentioned it there, TNA. So the partnership. What have you made of that? I think it's been absolutely incredible.
Love it. Absolute, mate. What a great move for TNA. I mean, AEW must be thinking, what the fuck has happened? You know what I mean? TNA have grabbed it with both hands. If WWE come knocking on your door saying, we want a partnership with you, you don't say no. What would be interesting, I will admit, I haven't watched loads of TNA. You're going to know more. You can probably answer me this question. Are they going to, because they incorporate TNA superstars on NXT, on the main roster a little bit? Is it going to go the other way? Will we see? Yeah, so we're going to see NXT stars. Are we going to see a Raw and a SmackDown title turn up on that? If that happens, then for me, I'm like, wow, this is proper Forbidden Door shit, because if the Intercontinental title or the US title turns up on TNA, then I'm like, wow, this. And again, but that helps TNA, because imagine if they advertise LA Knight versus whoever on TNA Impact, you're going to be like, I'm watching that. It's a win-win for TNA. They literally can't lose. I'm not a huge Joe Henry fan. I don't get it. Maybe the theme tune's catchy. I get it, but I'm on the other side of it. I don't really like it, but people are getting it, and he's over. And what he's done on NXT, I've been watching NXT, and he had the whole concert, and it was brilliant. So for me, mate, it's win. TNA can't lose. I don't know what you think. I don't think they can lose.
I think it's been great. I think, they have had a lot of the stars, a lot of them from NXT. Like I said, the guy from the Rascals, I can't remember his name. Wes Lee's been on there quite a bit. The No Quarter Catch crew have been on there. So Regal's son has been on there. I think they've just done tapings this weekend, and I believe a lot of the NXT guys have qualified for Ultimate X. Coming up in Emergence at the end of the month.
Kind of like a developmental thing when the WWE is it the people that are in NXT but not quite in
Yeah,
NXT, if you know what I mean.
I think so. I think there's a lot of the guys that have been their mainstays. I mean, like Wesley was a mainstay, a former North American champion. They've got a lot of, to say, a lot of the groups on there. I think as you've obviously got to remember that TNA tape a month's tapings in a couple of
Gotcha.
weeks, so it's not a live show. So I don't think you would see like the bigger ones until perhaps the pay-per-views, like
Pay-per-views, yeah.
Slammiversary. They could, but not Slammiversary. Bound for Glory, which is their big one. I think it's October. That could even be in London yet, by the way.
We're going.
They said it's going to, but they said at the moment it's going to be in one of the world's 10 most visited places, and obviously London is up there in the top 10. So it's potentially going to be London, could be Saudi Arabia, I don't know, but I think for what, if they do it there, they can announce people, then they can start bringing them in, bigger names, and like you're going to want to see an AJ Styles in there at some point.
You've got to see the TNA originals in there.
Exactly. So
you've got
it's been
to.
really good. I've loved it. Jordan Grace on both shows as well, doing bits and pieces. Really good. I really think it's benefited both companies, and I want to see more. So we will see how that goes. Talking of the women, Nia Jax Bailey, I didn't like. Not say I didn't like the match. Sorry, the whole feud for me. I think Bailey's title run's been abysmal, to be quite honest, since WrestleMania. I don't think the face turn has suited the character that she portrays. When she was face the first time, the hugging and the fucking things flying around, loved it. When she turned heel, it was great. The heel run was great. The heel championship run was great. The face turn hasn't worked. They didn't do a good job really on SmackDown. And I think because they had so much other things going on, it was difficult to put this together. Obviously, you had the pretend cash in from Tiffany as well. Nia Jax walking out as champion is probably the right call, I think, because the title run from Bailey hasn't been great. But for you, I mean, where do you see this going now for Nia Jax? What's going on? Will Tiffany cash in on her eventually, or will she wait?
Charlotte Flair.
Oh,
They've got the belt to Nia for Charlotte. She's ready to go, apparently. From everything I'm reading in all the dirt sheets, she's ready to go. So do not be surprised if Nia has that belt for a matter of weeks, days. It won't be long. I think it's all set up for Charlotte to come back. Yeah, the cash in, like the failed cash in, and then did you watch the interview, like the after show, the interview with them? And I was like, do you know what would have been hilarious if WWE have got any sense? One of these after show, whatever they're called, the post show.
Okay, yeah.
Tiffany should have just belted her with a briefcase and cashed it in there and then.
Yeah.
That would have been brilliant. Just bam, as she's chatting, does she cash in on Nia? Is it going to be a failed cash in? But I think Charlotte, from everything that I think it was okay. And again, I don't know where. Again, this comes back to what do they do now? Where do they go with Bailey? I loved heel Bailey. I thought she was brilliant. It's better than I hope they don't go back to the baby face hugging and please don't do that. I don't think Triple H will, because of the vision of where he wants to go with the company now. Nia, I don't know, mate. I think she's placeholder. Fair play to her, because like she said in the post show, this time last year she wasn't in the WWE. Yeah. So for all the BS that she gets of people, she has come back and proved a lot of people wrong. The match was okay. She didn't seem to botch anything. In touch wood, she hasn't botched anything in a while. So she seems to have learned from her mistakes. So why shouldn't she be given a chance? What's it setting up though now in the women? Again, me and you have said this for God knows how long. That women's division still needs something. I don't know what. I don't know if Charlotte Flair's the answer, because again, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah. It needs a Ronda Rousey to come back and be a bad bitch. It'd be great if she could wipe everything under the carpet with WWE. And you can never say never. And look, Jesus Christ, I saw Bret Hart stand in a WWE ring. Come on, you know what I mean? I've seen CM Punk come back to the WWE. The women's division needs something. I don't know. Again, me and you've said this months and months ago, and we're still sitting here in August saying it. I'm going to be interested. I think it's all set up for Charlotte Flair, mate.
Probably. We have to wait a year for Ronda Rousey. She's up to duff again. So
is she up to duff?
Yeah.
Someone buy her a telly.
So she's going to be
nothing else to do to keep warm in that house.
Yeah, indeed. She's going to be, and obviously got all the animals as well. She was on the farm, wasn't she?
It needs something. That could be a TNA. Is there an NXT? It needs
Jordan
something.
Grace's contract is up in January.
There you go. That would be perfect. Yep. That would win the Rumble.
Yep, potentially.
Then you're away to Mania.
Indeed, it could be. Obviously, Jade Cargill's she needs to split from Bianca. That could be something that they could, not necessarily against Nia, but Charlotte Flair.
Yep, could do. That'd be good.
But we'll see. A match that realistically, I mean, I was looking forward to it. I didn't expect too much from the match, because obviously it was built around hatred, I suppose you could call it. I don't know. But we know that CM Punk's having a great reputation backstage. We know that everything seems to be working. He's enjoying being there. Apparently, he wants to renegotiate a lifetime contract with the WWE. Jesus, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
kind of throws in this match. This match was great from a storyline perspective. I don't think it was necessarily great as a match. I think there was a lot. Punk was blowing after 5 minutes of this.
See, this is why we are friends, mate. Great minds think alike. I said to you at the start, there was one match that I love everything about CM Punk.
Yep.
Until he gets in the wrestling ring. Now, Parker's probably listening to this, wanting to jump through the computer and punch me in the face. I'm really sorry, Parker. I know he's your boy. I love everything that CM Punk does promo-wise. I love everything he does to build a match. I'm 100% with you. This match for me, I know this is probably the only time I'll ever agree with Dave Meltzer. This was a setup match.
Oh, cool.
This was a Seth Rollins. Anytime anyone's a special guest referee, you're setting something up a la WrestleMania 97, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Brett, the chair.
Good throwback as well, wasn't it?
Good throwback. Everyone was dressed like it. They've basically done the whole match pretty much. I don't know if I'm in the minority here. I don't know. Majority. I don't know. For me, CM Punk, wrestling wise, since he's come back for WWE, albeit with the injury, hasn't pulled up any trees for me. And a lot of people will be listening to this. And I'm sorry, you can hit me in the comments, or maybe you won't see me for another couple of months because of it. I haven't enjoyed a CM Punk wrestling match since he's come back. I 100% agree with you. Promo-wise, building the match, everything. There ain't many people better. His in-ring stuff for me is a bit ploddy. If that makes sense.
Maybe the injuries haven't helped because there's been quite a few. Because obviously, if you even go back to AEW, he got suspended, then he got injured, then he needs that. And I think because he's not wrestling a lot, you don't get to wipe those cobwebs away quick enough, do you? Like if you were if you were doing the house shows, if you were doing matches on Raw every other week, to get all of that ring, even if they're just squash matches, he just comes out, decimates, I don't know, JD McDonough or someone, I don't know, someone along those lines, just to clear up any ring rust. Because if he now goes, all right, it could only be 3 weeks until his next match. He could have one at Bash at Berlin, but then you've got like a 6-week gap until Bad Blood. And if you have that 6-week gap again before you get in the ring and physically do something, you're not going to wrestle away.
And how long do they give it? You can't tell me he hasn't come back to WWE not to be world champion.
Oh, he's definitely come back to be world champion.
So how long do they give it, whether it's a Gunter or it ain't going to be Cody, because I think Cody's going somewhere with the blood. That's going, So at the minute, per se, you're looking at Gunter.
Gunter will kill him.
How long do they get? Gunter will absolutely, if he thinks he was blowing on Saturday, you get in the ring with Gunter, mate, be dead after 2 minutes. One of the most brutal guys I've ever seen. I love the guy. But how long that's for me when you might see the quote unquote real CM Punk. If we're still sitting here, Royal Rumble, and he isn't even in the title mix, is that when he starts looking around going, I really love it backstage, but I wouldn't mind being, because he's always said he wants to headline WrestleMania. How long did WWE give it? Do they pull the trigger on it and go, okay, we're going to put you in a run with Gunter, and then you've got Seth Rollins in the mix? Is it you three kind of heading that direction? And do we, by the time we get to April next year, are we in some sort of triple threat? Are we in some sort of, I don't know where we'll be. I just worry about him having these kind of, I'm not going to call them mid card because they're not, because Drew McIntyre's far from mid card. I just wonder when the AEW Punk might just poke his head out above the parapet and go, I want to be world champ, and I want to be world champ now. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it probably will. I don't know. I just think, right. I mean, Jesus, if he got in there with Gunter, he wouldn't be able to hang at the minute. He would look bad, and you don't want him to look bad. That's the thing.
No.
Like, it was passable because of all the stuff going on around it. McIntyre's doing his best work ever.
Does his missus come back and get involved? Hence the whole bracelet thing.
Oh,
at the minute. Is there something? They're not going to bring his dog out in a tag team match, that's for sure.
Well, Cody.
Cody just about walked his poor old dog backstage, bless him. I know he put something on Instagram saying it's the last event he's going to be at, because his poor old dog's getting a bit old a bit. On Anderson as well, dragged him out. It's going to be interesting. Don't get me wrong, it's great that Punk's getting on with everyone, and it's simmering for me, and he ain't going to be doing what he's doing for too long. He's going to want to be world champion. So interesting.
But good win for Drew anyway.
Great win.
Needed it, I think, more than Punk.
For as bad as we bash Punk, fair play to him to doing the over. He could have easily gone, I ain't doing that at SummerSlam, second biggest show of the year. But fair play to him, he done the over. It's gonna set again. I reckon Berlin could be like the old school Backlash, where it's just gonna be rematch.
Could be.
we'll get into it in a minute. Gunther's got the title now. He's going to
Yeah.
Germany. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The pop he's going to get in 3 weeks' time is going to be unbelievable. So yeah, good move. For Drew, again, is he another one? How long does he go? Hang on a minute. I carried you lot through COVID. When am I getting it's a good problem to have. It's good for wrestling fans, and it's good that they've got SmackDown and Raws and NXTs. It's like, where do we place these people? Because everyone now, you could easily argue Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. We haven't even talked about, we know where it's going to go, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso. We haven't really, we get into that at the end, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Again, they're guys that could be going, want to be in the main event. Why am I not in the main event? You know, it's a good problem for Triple H and the creative team of WWE to have, because back in the day, you could kind of predict, you know, especially when Roman had his run, he's like, okay, he's doing 4-week program with him, he's doing this program with that, he's going to win, he's going to win, he's going to win. You could go even back further. Hogan, he's going to win, he's going to win. Now you've got all these big names going, I want to be in that mix. And and when you look at it, Drew McIntyre definitely should be in the mix. Jey Uso definitely should be. Jimmy Uso. You've got all these great superstars now. Thinking, hang on a minute, it's a great problem for WWE to have. But I'm just like, as a wrestling fan, as me and you sitting there watching it, it's going to be intriguing to see where everyone slots in.
We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, you're probably right. Bash at Berlin could be a rematch city kind of pay-per-view, a glorified house show with a big attendance. So we'll see.
Massive,
and I'm sure we'll get some idea tonight on Raw where they're going with it. Let's talk about Gunther, Damian Priest. Do you know what? I love the fact that Priest was given as good as he got. I've never seen Gunther bleed properly like that on his chest, from the hard slaps, everything. That match was just so hard hitting. It was my type of match. I love the fact that Gunther's using an old school finish with Sleeper as well. I think that's great. This was all about whether or not Priest was going to get turned on as well by the Judgment Day. Now, earlier on in the night, they were all looking for Dominic, and Priest kind of gave the intercept. They didn't trust Finn and the rest of the team in there. And then Finn come out. And the moment Finn come out, I thought, when and how?
Yeah, same.
It was only like a little bit of a miscue on this bit where he had hit him with the South of Heaven. Gunther was kind of rolling, and he said,
"Yeah, I need to push him."
Pushed him to the ropes. He pushed him to the ropes. Referee counted 2. Finn grabbed the leg. First time ever in a long time I've ever seen a replay seen by the wrestler.
I know, when he was looking up at the screen, it's like the NFL. It's good though, mate.
Loved it. Finn turns, ultimately cost Damian Priest the end of it. He did do a little roll up after that, and I thought, shit, he's going to win it, and then it's going to go somewhere else. But he didn't. Gunther, I think it's time. We sat here probably back end of last year saying it's when with Gunther. His time is now. Germany coming up makes a lot of sense, obviously being Austrian, quite close to the German border. But overall, this match absolutely exceeded what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, mate, I absolutely old school wrestling match. You know, Priest didn't look weak. He didn't look strong in some parts. It was a wrestling match for the ages. You know, he done the job. He come back during the match. It was just a pure old school WWF wrestling match. And then obviously the turn at the end. Who knows what they again do? Judgment Day, is it going to be Rhea Ripley and Finn now? Just Carlito can't lead the Judgment Day, as they were saying on the post show. That would be fucking. Don't know what the hell they're going to do with him. But again, Damien was always going to get there. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him as a heel, as a baby face. Sorry, it's going to be interesting to see how that reaction is now and what they do with him, because Gunther's going to keep that title for a while. So does Priest kind of slip back into he'll have a feud with Finn? I'm guessing that could be Berlin, or that could be anytime thereafter. Might even be on a Monday Night Raw or something like that. And then you throw Dominic and Liv and all that into the mix. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with Damian Priest. You know, he's not going to win the title again anytime soon. Good placeholder. Again, built him up, told a good story, won the Money in the Bank. When me and you talked for ages, are you ever going to cash it in? Plenty of times that he could have, and then he obviously did. But yeah, I hope now Gunther gets the potential for him to have the feuds that he could have. Wow, could be incredible. I'm hoping eventually they get to Seth and Gunther, because I think that could be one of the best wrestling matches we've ever seen.
It could be. We'll wait and see what's coming up. There's again more of a reason to watch Raw tonight.
And you still got people like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton to throw into the mix of all of this.
Yeah, that's coming. We can talk about that quite nicely now because we're going to segue into main event. It turned out to be Bloodline rules after SmackDown. That was really the point where I thought, okay, something's, there was talk about there was talk about possibly not Roman, someone else like Jimmy and Jay may have come out, yada yada yada. Anyway, Bloodline rules. Cody walks his dog halfway to the ring, meets up with another old dog, Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Said that, you got a couple of friends on the way and a couple that you don't know about. And I was like, oh shit, this is now, and the whole match, it just felt like it was building to something. And they'd done a great job of it. It was building. You knew at one point that the new bloodline were going to make their presence felt, and they did. Unfortunately, seems to be an injury to the best one out of the new.
Yeah, hurt his ankle, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think
he protective boot at the end.
Yeah, so hopefully that was. Yeah, he's not out too long because they're going to need him for War Games.
Well, and also he's a tag champ right now.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, slight. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
and
but
then,
no, the match itself, mate, incredible. And like you say, I was like you. It's just like the build. And then when they done it at the right point actually, because I wasn't expecting it then.
Yeah,
and obviously you had his WrestleMania music that he come out to. It was I half expected to maybe see Paul Heyman, but I'm guessing that's going to be SmackDown.
Yeah.
On Friday. It's going to be incredible. The pop was wow. It was unbelievable.
Generational.
Yeah, it was. And to be fair, it hasn't, in the grand scheme of things, people have been gone longer.
Yeah.
And, he's only been gone since Mania. So I know
4 months.
He's had a lot going on in his private life. Obviously, his father sadly passed away. And but he looked ready. The T-shirt was great. Original Tribal Chief. The Superman punch, the spit, the spear. It was everything I wanted it to be. And I was just jumping around my front room like an absolute 12-year-old idiot watching wrestling. And I loved it. And again, now, this is where we all kind of know where they want to get to. And me and you have already kind of alluded to this. Or it's now how they retell a story that builds up to War Games.
Yeah.
Because if they do it right and we get to War Games where we think it's who it's going to be against who it's going to be, and I'm going to throw one name into here, and he alluded it to the night after WrestleMania, and I think it's going to be incredible. I think you're going to have the final boss, The Rock, with the quote unquote new bloodline, and you're going to have Roman Reigns with the bloodline, whether it be Sammy and the Usos. That's going to then get you to potentially setting up Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania, which is where they wanted it to be last year. And I've just fantasy booked the rest of the year. I do know that. But in my head, and so you probably the same, someone that's watched wrestling your entire life, I think that's where they want to get with that. And then you've then got to figure out with Cody. I mean, after this show, you're kind of like, oh, what happens with Cody now?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
And again, it's left you thinking, I'm watching Raw, I'm watching SmackDown. The match itself was incredible. Solo didn't look weak. Cody didn't look weak. It was a match that done what it had to do. We kind of all knew that Roman was coming back. We hoped he was coming back. He did come back. And now you're kind of like, holy fuck, where's this going? And everyone, all wrestling fans now, if you're half clued up, are automatically thinking War Games. But what's that, 4 months?
3.
3 months. So you've got 3 months you've got Berlin. What's the pay-per-view after Berlin?
Berlin and Bad Blood, and that's it.
So you've got Berlin and Bad Blood, Bloodline, Bad Blood. There's going to be something there. And then boom, then you're setting up, which potentially could be one of the greatest War Games matches ever.
And you got the fact that Hukaleo is going to come in as well.
Sitting in the crowd, wasn't he?
No, that was Zilla.
Zilla
was sitting in the crowd. Hukaleo is another one.
Mate, they're like a bunch of Irish travellers, these lot. They're just everywhere. Can't keep up.
What a way to look at the Samoans. They're a bunch of gypsies.
Yeah.
I mean, this was great.
Where do you think it's going? What do you think is going to happen now?
Yeah, I think we're going towards a Randy Orton Cody feud at some point. Whether it's going to be Randy turning or whether it's going to be a mutual respect thing, I don't know. But if you notice, every time Randy was helping Cody, his eyes were on that time. So they can segue to that.
Do we ever get a scenario where Cody turns? They never done it with John Cena. Would they do it with Cody?
I don't know. Unless the crowd starts, like they did in AEW, and you were begging for it. You were like, you've got to do it. It was one of the, and WWE could have done it and perhaps should have done it with John, but they didn't.
Do we get Cena Cody?
I think so. I think
that could be does Cena win the title at Mania, finish off his little year-long?
Because obviously his last Royal Rumble and WrestleMania are the beginning of the year, but he's wrestling until the end.
He's wrestling pretty much till the end of next year, right?
Yeah.
So that will take us, if we're doing it in old school terms, that will take us up to Survivor Series.
Something like that. Yeah.
Does he win the title at Mania, have his last hurrah, potentially then maybe drop it the next night on Raw? I don't know what could happen, but that could maybe where they get to.
Yeah.
Could they? What a way to turn Cody if they wanted to do it, turn him on Cena.
Good do.
You know, have them all like Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Oh, friends, bam, Shawn Michaels
Bang,
giving a super kick, and we're crossroads on Cena, and everyone's like, hang on a minute, is Cody Rhodes just turned heel?
Yeah, you could do.
Could be good because I was chatting with a friend of mine yesterday, John Noakes, who's watching this. Big shout out to John.
Yeah.
He was like, "What the Cody run hasn't been great," and I know me and you have been texting back and forth. It's had moments where I thought, "Oh, hang on, this is going to get good," and then I've just been like, "Oh, they haven't quite." It's hard when you're following Roman Reigns and he's been champion for God knows how long. I think you had some hair when he first won the belt. You know, it's never going to be easy. It's, you know, David Moyes following Alex Ferguson at Man United. It's one of them kind of scenarios. But if you wanted to and you turned him heel and you got him involved in the Bloodline storyline, John Cena could potentially do something for that run that's kind of faded. But mate, what a next couple of weeks. Raw and SmackDown this week, you can't miss them.
No.
Physically, I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping they give us Roman on Friday. I'm thinking the 15th of September, I'm in America then, debut on USA.
Is that what it is?
Do they long Roman out till then?
Of course, because Michael Cole joined SmackDown again.
Michael Cole, and they announced on the pre-show, the new commentator he's come across. Do they wait to Roman? They've given us the, oh my God, he's back. Do we see him on Friday? Or do we wait 4 weeks till September the 15th? SmackDown launches on USA.
That's going to be that,
or is that a match? Are we building to a big match on that night?
Probably
is
that,
it something Roman and Solo, and it will end in a squash, and then we're setting up Survivor Series?
Yeah, probably that. I think more likely. But this is a great time to be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to be watching WWE. It's been one of the times I haven't actually not watched Raw all the way through.
Yeah, same, mate. Same. I watch it on a Tuesday normally, or Wednesday when I get in, because I'm usually at football now on a Tuesday. But I haven't missed a Raw SmackDown for a while now. The build up to SummerSlam was incredible. The aftermath is going to be incredible. Berlin how many times have me and you said, oh, it might not be a great show, and it was. Look at Backlash in France. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
One of the best shows of the year. If that could win show of the year, Berlin could be incredible, mate. There's going to be 70,000 people there. I'm saying I'm still tempted to go. It's going to be amazing. Again, what a time to be a wrestling fan. You've got AEW over here in London in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks time at Wembley Stadium for everything that they're going through. That'll be sold out. That'll be packed. All right, tickets are $2.99, but it'll be packed. It's gonna be good. What a time to be a wrestling fan, mate. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be incredible where they go in the next month now. It's leading up to War Games now, and already you can get. That's what I like about what Triple H. His long time. I don't know what you think now. Vince McMahon had vision. For me, Triple H has. I don't know. He has something. There's something there that he's think. I can't compare him to Vince McMahon because as much as we can't mention him for what's gone on recently, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have wrestling.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I know LA Knight mentioned him. Nia Jax mentioned him in her post game, didn't she? When she dropped the Vince McMahon, I was like, oh my God, did she just say Vince McMahon on WWE? Stephanie was at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Had a great embrace with CM Punk, which got caught on camera. It's good to see her, but how involved is she? Oh, mate, awesome time to be a wrestling fan, mate.
Indeed. Before we go, why don't you tell them all about your Dunstable podcast, my friend?
Yeah, at DTFC Pod. If anyone wants to come and check out a non-league show, we're flying at the minute.
We're just not in the league though. You're not in.
We're out the FA Cup already. I went down to Little Oakley on Saturday. We got bopped. I think we got bopped. We were 2-0 down at half time. Got it back to 2-1. Lost 3-1. We're out the FA Cup. But yeah, it's been. I'm loving what I'm doing. There's not enough hours in the day for me to do everything. Still, I'm more involved on the football pitch side of it as well now. I'm helping out a lot more. So my boots are back on, and I'm helping out a little bit of training and game days. I'm doing all the media. We have a great media team, absolutely great. James and everyone that does everything behind the scenes, and Steve Lewitt, and I know who listens to these. He was buzzing that I was doing this. I said to him, I'm coming back to do some. He was like, oh my God, it could be great. A lot of them listen to HCTB still. So yeah, at DTFC Pod on Twitter. If anyone wants to check us out, just type in Dunstable Town FC on YouTube and you can find us. But yeah, won't be the last time you see me talking some wrestling with you, mate.
Good.
Absolutely, honestly, hand on heart, loved what you're doing with what me and Parker started. God knows, 3 years ago now, I'm going to say.
Yep.
Something like that, 2.5, 3 years ago. Incredible, mate. Obviously, I watch as much as I can. And obviously, when you do a Raw or SmackDown review, because I've watched it, I get your point of view and it's interesting to see. And obviously, good to see Dave back. Good to see Fiona looking well and doing well in life in general. She's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet on the face of the earth, mate. So to see what HCTB is doing, Buckle Up 2 looked a great show.
Yeah.
Looked incredible, mate. So big shout out to you guys over there at Ignite Wrestling. I still keep my finger on the pulse as much as I can. Just I can't commit to doing things like as much as I'd love to, and maybe I could turn up for the odd big like pay-per-view and we could do something like this. I just haven't got the time to sit down and do it. My daughter's spending money before I can earn it. There's loads going on. But yeah, keep up the great work, mate. Honestly, it's so good to see HCTV. I love the new logo. I love where it's going. I love everything you're doing on YouTube. The collabs you're doing as well. It's great to see where this brand is going. It's great to see what the future holds for yourself, for the brand, for HCTB. Keep going, my friend. You're absolutely killing it.
We will, thank you, and we'll have you back whenever you can.
Yes, mate. Let's. I'll try. The Bash at Berlin is bank. Is it the weekend?
No,
after
it's the week
holiday?
after bank holiday. Yeah, because All In's the bank holiday weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're. I'll try and. I'm not gonna lie. I don't dip into AEW at all, but it will be great to see. I'm not going to poo-poo over what they're about to do at Wembley Stadium. It was just quickly. I was chatting to a big AEW fan, a friend of mine, says that Daniel. I keep calling him Daniel Bryan still. His contract's up, and he wants to come back to WWE. Is that true?
I don't know about WWE. What they've said is that his contract's already expired. But he is wrestling for the AEW Heavyweight Championship
at Wembley.
At Wembley.
Yeah.
In a title versus career match.
So that could be him.
It could be, or it could be the other way around, and he wins it. And
signs a new deal.
He said that the contract that he signed, the last contract he signed, was his last full-time wrestling.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm with you. And Will Ospreay's on the card, right, as well?
MJF, Will Ospreay. But MJF is in London this coming Sunday against Michael Oku for the AEW All-American Championship at Revolution Pro Wrestling over at York Hall, Bethnal Green. I'm fucking in Cornwall. I am fuming. I'm going to miss that.
Never ends well when you go to Cornwall. You end up in hospital.
I know. I end up missing things like this. The artist formerly known as Cameron Grimes is also over in Revolution Pro Wrestling this week against, I think it's Luke Jacobs. I could be wrong. It's
wow, big show. There's still tickets left for that. Jesus. That's gonna be
there is some tickets there still, I think, available. Not many. They've got a hell of a lineup this weekend. I'm so annoyed that I'm missing it, but it is what it is. But
you don't look too well, mate. I think you might need to stay at home. Where Rach, is she around? She's not listening to this.
No, not tonight. No,
don't look too peaky, mate. You might just have to hand her down there.
But also big shout out to Blacksmith Apparel, who we had on last week. But the shirts, they've also kindly sorted me out a meet and greet ticket for Box Park. Wembley this when AEW go there. Look out for EC3's interview this week. He has some interesting words for a fellow NWA wrestler. I'm not going to quote it because I'll probably get taken off the air, but watch it because he can get taken off. I'm just not going to agree or disagree with what he said, but watch that. Also coming up, I'm sitting down with former Spirit Squad member Mike Mondo for 2 hours, I think, this week. We're going to have a 2-hour, could be a two-parter with the Spirit, with him talking all things wrestling. So watch out for that. Watch out for all the other review shows. Turnbuckle title match for September is being announced at 7:30. Good luck, Mark. So I'm going to say, but apart from that, Andy, we'll do this again with you very, very soon. But this has been SummerSlam review on the Turnbuckle channel. He has been the maestro himself, Mr. Andy Burrows. I've been your host, Adam Cousins. Till next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe. Goodbye.